afternoon. Today we're talking about, of course, yet another Yordle. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, I've gone through now 5. This will be the 6th Yordle. Today I'm just going to read you the lore and the story for Rumble. I nearly forgot, that was close. For Rumble. I'm really enjoying doing these because I really didn't know much about each character before this. Yeah, each character has a story on where they came from, and at the moment I decided let's start with the Yordles. I really enjoy Yordles, I think they're adorable, so why not start here, and then see where else we go with other champions perhaps. So today, as I said, we're talking about Rumble. Like a lot of the other champions, he has a story as well as his lore, so we'll go through that as well. Hopefully you enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to learning something, hopefully, and maybe you'll learn something as well. So this is like the quickest intro I've ever done, because usually I ramble on about what time of day it is. It's the afternoon, if anyone wondered. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's open up the story. First of all, we have a small bio for Rumble. It says Rumble, the Mechanized Menace. So let's read it. It's really short, but the story is quite long, so I think it'll even itself out. Here we go. Even amongst Yordles, Rumble was always the run of the litter. As such, he was used to getting bullied. Always squeaked. Even amongst Yordles, Rumble was always the runt of the litter. As such, he was used to being bullied. In order to survive, he had to be scrappier and more resourceful than his peers. He developed a quick temper and a reputation for getting even. No matter who crossed him. This made him something of a loner. But he didn't mind. He used to tinker, preferring the company of gadgets, and he could usually be found rummaging through the junkyard. Rumble showed great potential as a mechanic, and his teachers recommended him for enrollment at the Yordle Academy of Science and Progress in Piltover. He may very well have become one of Heimerdinger's esteemed protégés. But Rumble refused to go. He believed that Heimerdinger and his associates were sellouts, trading superior Yordle technology to humans for nothing more than a pat on the head, while Yordles remained the butt of their jokes. So many of these stories recently have involved Heimerdinger. It's quite funny. When a group of human graduates from the Yordle Academy sailed to Bandle City to visit the place where the mentor was born and raised, Rumble couldn't resist the temptation to see them face to face, so to speak. He only attempted to get a good look at the humans, but 4 hours and several choice words later, he returned home bruised and bloodied with an earful about how he was an embarrassment to enlightened Yordles like Heimerdinger. The next morning, Rumble left Bandle City without a word, and wasn't seen again for months. When he returned, he was at the helm of a clanking, mechanized monstrosity. He marched it into the centre of town amidst dumbfounded onlookers, and there was an announcement that he would show the world what Yordle tech was really capable of achieving. Wow, well that makes sense. Another story that makes a lot of sense. I like that, straight to the point. He got beaten up and he decided he'll show what Yordles can do. And I do agree, I think I know this is a game, but I'm just saying I think a lot of players maybe look down on playing a Yordle. I don't know, just how I've seen it anyway. Yeah, I like that, straight to the point. So let's go on to the story now. Okay, the story is called Shuriman Trash by, I think it's another one. I think we saw an Amanda Jeffrey story before, so this is by Amanda Jeffrey. So I was walking through this little plaza in the library district of Nashramay, super dusty, flagstones older than empires, and usually pretty quiet. Having just out-negotiated these damn human merchants at the Grand Marketplace, I was feeling good. I'd been all, "You want how much for that teapot?" And "There's no way that's an authentic Ascended Age mace with that iconography." But a whole day around mortals was enough for me. I had to hear another cheery "water and shade to you" greeting. I was gonna get heated. Anyway, I'd almost gotten my cart full of treasure to my store, thinking how great it would be to get back to my junkyard, when whammo, I was flat on my backside. I jumped back on my feet in a heartbeat, surrounded by mortals again. But these were younger humans, a bunch of them, and most of them were laughing at the scrawny kid who'd slammed onto me and my cart. He was trying to pick himself up off the ground and onto the sorriest excuse for a mech I'd ever seen, a board with wheels, and he wasn't laughing, he just kept apologising. "Sorry, Abujan," I said. "Do I look like your grandfather?" This kid didn't have my winning smile or my razor-sharp cheekbones. What am I talking about? Or my razor-sharp cheekbones. And his ears weren't even fluffy, so there was barely any family resemblance. Anyway, the laughing kids had a ringleader, a nasty-looking boy wearing an oversized Noxian-style tunic and iron-capped boots. He said, "Where do you think you'll roll in, armadillo bug?" My hackles went up until I realised he was talking to the scrawny kid, but still, that's a pretty mean thing to say. The ringleader didn't stop there. He was all, "You're Shuriman trash, and too. You're ugly and you can't even walk." He pointed at my broken cart. "The Empire doesn't use useless things. We should throw you with the rest of the garbage on this old man's pile of junk." Now I was seeing red, steam right out of my ears, so I got up in the big bullier's face, well, up in his knees, and said, "Hey kid, you better apologise." He scoffed with his stupid face. "You don't know who you're dealing with, old man." Oh, there's always so many names. "I'm Kesu Rance, son of Governor Rance. Walk away or we'll clear this plaza of all its trash." Of course, I walked. I mentioned my store, right? Shuttered, overlooked and full of bric-a-brac. That's way too good to ever sell to humans. It's a cover, a front, but where the portal back home appears once I set things up just right. So I wasn't walking away from this bully, I was walking to my store, not to escape. Obviously I was walking to an especially large, tarpaulin covered metallic form. Meanwhile, Kenzie was so busy monologuing to his club-wielding amateur thugs about being the strong form of Shurima, the strong future of Shurima, that he didn't even notice me until I was blocking out the sun from the cockpit of the sweetest of bipedal mechs, my beloved Tristy. "Walker and shade to you, Kesu." I'm just terrible with these names. Oh, his face. Kid looked like he'd harpooned him. Kid looked like I'd harpooned him. I hadn't, of course. That comes later. Now, I'm an unbiased storyteller, so I'll mention Tristy might have had an ever so slightly malfunction. Ever so slight malfunction around this point. Barely worth noting, really. But in the interest of telling you everything, there was a hiccup, a hesitation, a stoppage. Tristy and me were the definition of intimidating, but that hitch was making some of those older kids bold, and one of them bashed my mech's leg with a club. "You're just a dumb old man with a dirty pile of junk. There's only one of you against all of us," she said, swinging her hand to indicate about a dozen armed, angry-looking snots. And then who should roll up? Just piloting the worst mech ever, but the scrawny kid, Anactia, while I applied percussive maintenance. Maybe that does say percussive maintenance to Tristy's precision mechanics. No, mechanisms. I cannot read today. I noticed he'd grabbed the 100% authentic extended age mace from my car. I'd have to have a chat about personal property with my grandson later. Anyway, Anactu yelled, "He's not alone," but Kenzie just laughed and tried to kick him. The little guy pivoted on his rolling board and swept the mace under Kenzie's other leg, and whack, the bully went down hard. With a shot, Anactu took the fight to the rest of them, surprised him too, because within seconds he'd gotten two big ones backed into a corner. Too bad he didn't see Kenzie coming at him from behind with the torn off handle of my car, ready to clonk him. But Anactu wasn't alone either. Tristy sprang back to life, and bam, I was zooming across the plaza. We skidded to a stop, kicking up dust, and I pulled the trigger. Zap. Remember the harpoon I mentioned? Yeah, I electro-harpooned that car handle mid-swing. I'd like to see a certain other Yordle pull off a demonstration of extreme marksmanship like that. And Kenzie? He toppled into the dust. Anactu, here's his name. Anactu heard the commotion and spun around. Gave me a big smile. "Oh, Bujan." Yeah, get up here," I said, giving him a hand up to Tristy's cockpit. "The view's better." He said something like, "You don't have to tell me twice," which is a pretty cool thing to say under the circumstances. And then Tristy went pew pew and zap zap zap, and it let Anactu activate the flame spitter, but only to scare the bigger kids. Anyway, Tristy and me were awesome, and I guess Anactu wasn't bad for a mortal, and soon the bullies were running away. Grinning, I said to Anactu, "This is going to be bumpy." Then everything shook and the air was full of rockets. The bullies got as far as the archway over the plaza's exit, when boom boom boom, the rocket slammed onto the ground, flaming and zapping everything nearby, barring their escape. So there they were, stuck between the Equalizer's wall of fire and Runeterra's finest mechanized pilot. I was about to demand that apology when Anactu climbed down, rolled up to Kenzie and asked, "Why are you so mean?" Kenzie whined something about his Noxian dad, how he wanted to impress him. It was pretty boring, really. The rocket sputtered and died. The other bully kids fled, leaving Kenzie behind. He started to back away too. "Hold it," I yelled, harpoon in the ready. "What about my apology?" As I pulled back my hood, he finally figured out I wasn't just some old man, because his eyes were bugging. He bowed down in the dust, saying, "Master Yordle, I'm sorry I threatened you." But I stopped him. "You think I care about threats? Try again," he said, Sorry for fighting, but I cut him off there too. Nope, I'm ready for round 2, but if you don't apologise for the right reason. I shouldn't have been so mean to an actor. You disrespected Junk, I shouted. Junk is not garbage, it's pure potential. Dumb people don't see its worth, but the imagination and hard work and love, Junk can be turned into the finest mech a Yordle could ever dream of, and other stuff. Kenzie was obviously awestruck at the logic, because he was speechless. When he found words, he said, I am sorry? Thank you. So I finally got the apology that Junk deserved. An act to help Kenzie out of the dirt. They clasped arms and were in tears or something, but I'd had enough of mortals, so Tristy and I turned to head home. Abu-chan, your mace. You must want it back. An Actu rolled over to hand it to me. Wouldn't you know, a mortal who respects Junk. Keep it, I said. I mean, if you can't spoil your grandkids, what's the point? Like when you go to see your grandparents and they give you tea and loads of biscuits and chocolate and cake and food, and they're like, well, you need it. You need to eat and I need to feed you. Oh, I like that. I kind of like that. Even though the mortals were being nice to him, he's like, oh, I've had enough. It's quite funny. It's very true to character, I guess. It sounds like, anyway, from the other story. Well, after all, that one was quite quick as well, so that was quite surprising. I hope you enjoyed reading that. I do enjoy Rumble, and the story was really interesting. Maybe next week I'll have to do the Heimerdinger one, seeing as we seem to have seen so much information about him from other people's stories, so I guess it makes sense to read about him next. Well, I guess that's the plan for next week I just came up with. Right, and that's the story for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that. I appreciate anyone who watches all the way to the end. Thank you so much. And if you want to see any of the other Yordle stories, please do have a look on my channel at the rest of them, and there'll be more to come. Thank you. Take care. Bye.